Hello everyone, welcome to another quick exercise video. So in this video, I'm just going to make a sci-fi panel that you can use for walls, floors, and ceilings. It's probably better if we start with just a plane. So how is everyone liking the ProSelect add-on? You can download it for free in my Patreon in patreon.com/blendercopy. You just have to become a free member. Um, let's draw out the part which is going to be the which is going to be the cloth part. Cloth slice XYZ link. And delete this. Probably not. It's going to represent this. Okay, probably clean this up. There we go. One, two, three, four. One, two here. And triangle here and also triangle. Try to keep it quads as close to quads as it can. But I think we can deal with this. So this will be the quad part. And we're just going to separate this using the p hat key. Then generate the random panel details in this area. Increase the subdivision for more details. And try and join price. So in the purpose of this is so that in the area where there are triangles or trifaces, try to triangulate those before actually using the topology for randomization. So in those area you can get quads. It works well enough in some situation, but for others, not so much. But it's better that it's there. We, we try random. Let's just use normal shading. So this will be the first layer. I'm looking for a shape that will represent the first layer. That could represent the first layer. Yeah, this is good. If you like the pattern and don't like the offset, you can, of course, play around with the offset random seed here, or the depth. The depth, the extrusion, and the offset, they'll kind of mean the same. Okay, middle part. So this one, limit dissolve. Gonna try to equalize the number of edges and panel cut, bevel, those edges sharp and cut symmetry line. There we go. We're just going to model some. So I'm using the pre-select add-on right now. You can see here is the Control Shift F hotkey. So go ahead and download that from my Patreon so you can follow along. There is an online tutorial for that, online documentation for that as well. In the post, you can find the link for the online documentation. One of my okay shortcuts. Let's go for this one. Select. Let me solve this so we can easily draw in some patterns using the draw cut and final cut that. So for quantify, if you want to quantify the mesh, do so later on after the design. It is much easier to create the design first before actually quantifying. Much faster than modeling and quantifying at the same time. So you do that after you created your design. So it's like design first before topology. So this is a mixture of random and manual manually modeled detail. But now let's get to the floor and just add in some extra edge loop. So final cloth reacts better if your topology is mostly evenly spaced quad faces. You try to get rid of the symmetry using or by disabling use mirror, but it's gonna be slower because it's using all of the mesh and not just the split half because of the mirror. So using the pressure, let's try and make this puff out more. I think it's going to be shrink minus 0.2, not that. I think it's pressure and also mass. No, wait, negative 0.4. Here we go. So negative 0.2 and C1. So just basically just playing around with the settings to get the how about the bake frames? How about just 1 or 15? Okay, probably too much. Where is the pre smooth? There we go. Yeah, better. So I'm going to add more stuff here, which I will put in some lights later on. So this is probably the advantage of non-modularity. You can see the speed. You have no modularity, but you can access the geometry anytime with manually manual details, manually model details. Whereas if this is virtual geometry using nodes, you can really dig into the you can really dig into the geometry because it's still being it's still virtual. It's still geonodes. It's sharp, then F9 and march up. So you can put in something like this one here. If 4 for the array and WSAD to number and alt WSAD for the distance. And like that. Shift cursor selected and make the pivot pointer to the cursor. Scale and kind of repair the width and bridge. I can just or you can use the shadow smooth to avoid to just let you avoid the marking this edges as sharp every time. You can just do that. So this is geonode. And we remove the sharpness. It acts basically the same way, but let's try and use 15 degrees. Okay. So I'm just stuck in the past using the mark sharp edges. If you're following along, I'm sorry for that, but you can just use this shade of the smooth, clear sharp. So I'm sorry for that. I'm just stuck in the past. So to Control Shift A first to deselect any geometry, and Shift F to select just this part of the uh, geometry. So it's giving me just these long lines because the way the topology is right now. So in order for me to get more lines this way, I need to make this topology look like that. Now if we there we go, you get more lines towards that direction. And it's going to be the same with random flow geonode edition. The pattern is not going to be created out of thin air. I actually got an email for that saying asking what kind of AI algorithm I was using and how I of course generating this randomization. You can tell that the one who sent that email has no experience with 3D. So in situations like that, you just gotta explain properly why you're achieving this. And this is not AI. This is just purely. random numbers. There you go. So I think we can continue on with this. Okay. And just generating a line there. Okay. I mean, this is good. For a floor panel, then we're going to just go to shading up in the materials. And for this one here, we're going to add the cloth. So the materials that is being added by the random flow up in that are all just basic materials that if you're new to Blender, you can use this to as a basic intro to material procedural materials in Blender. Okay, so for this part is the random flow or R flow cloth. Hide this, Shift G and press T to select all the mesh types in the scene, assign material and R flow metal. We are still going to edit the way that the uh, actually it already looks good, but let's just this the cloth looks like I don't know, it looks doesn't look right. So if you want to keep the source mesh, do not use the remove source mesh preset in the uh, in the uh, panel cloth operator. Yeah, we can use this. And let's just add in some lights. Go to face selection mode here. Our face. Okay. And in the material, let's just change the principal BSDF to emission. Uh, emission shader. And rename this to emit so we can find that using we can assign it easier using creative flow. Assign material, emit. Okay. So let's just use something. I think that's good. And the cloth, we're going to make the display, the normal the bump bigger. So this, I think this is Voronoi. Let's just 100 or 150, and bump is zero point 0.1, and the color, let's reduce the saturation and also make it um, brighter or darker if you want. And then going back to the metal part, um, we're going to select a face that actually contains. So in Blender, so you select this face here, for example. Oh wait, there, there we go. So if I select this face, for example, in the material stack, that becomes the active the material that is assigned to that face, the active face, becomes the active material in the material stack in the properties window. So if you want to edit, and also it shows up in the shader editor. the material that you've actually active the material that the active face has or active element. So if I want to edit the other material, you can select the a face that it is assigned to, like that, or you can pick it in the material list right here. Okay, so Control Shift right click. So you have to have Node Wrangler enabled to do this preview. And we're just going to make it something like that. Reduce the saturation and copy this to this. So Control C, Control V. Now let's see the quick blur. We're going to use 2 for scale, and the texture is kind of exploding from the center like that if 0. So just increase it to make the distribution more diffused. Okay. Cavity mask, edge mask is too much. So place 1, and noise scale is the one that does breaking it up. So 40 to make it smaller, or 80. And we have min max to actually control the thickness and of the breakage. And we have the smooth to make it smoother. So zero point 0.6 is too smooth. Smooth like a criminal. Scratches is, let's use 15 for scale. Okay. And then we're going to play around with the, let's make it more metallic. Let's make the metal show up more. Okay. So we have our, let's change the HDRI to something more ambient or moody. This is good. Okay, let's try this. So we have this, again, you can make it lighter using limited dissolve, but if you want to limit dissolve this, do not include the cloth. So hide this. Oh, Shift D, X, limit dissolve. So that makes it lighter, and then Alt H, and then select everything. And I'm going to join this using extras, join objects, join it to the plane. Okay. What happened? Is this using subdivision? Yes, it is. So we're going to apply this and try it again. Join objects, plane, and then shade auto smooth. And let's use 15 degrees. It's gonna show up on the cloth, but no sharpness. Named attributes, no named attributes used. Oh, I forgot this is GeoNode, so it actually made it harder to use this. You can see if this is if this is just a normal modifier, you can have like vertex group here, but we change it to GeoNode. So yeah, if you don't know GeoNodes, you're out of luck. Okay, so I think it's good even if some parts of it of the cloth is being affected by the smooth by angle GeoNode. And what we can do is finally use an array. You can bake this using greeble bake. Um, yeah, you can bake this using greeble bake, so you can just use a plane to display this detail. But I guess we can make it into a quick exercise for the next video to bake this using greeble bake. But for now, let's settle with just this geometry. So add modifier, edit, and generate and use array. And you can increase the count like this. And then you have your floor panels. We should have played around more with the cloth. It doesn't look right. We should have made it more less wrinkly, but I guess that's okay. Let's change. It's probably is just the shadows. Uh, yeah, it is too wrinkly. Okay, so we can make it like a floor panel or a side panel. Oops, region point, or we can use 3D cursor. Let's set the 3D cursor right here and set it as the pivot point. Then we can duplicate this. So this is the side panel, and this will be our wall panel. Go. And let's rotate the HDRI to view our model. Okay. So let's make it less metallic. There we go. And we have the dirt as well. I think the dirt is too much. Let's smooth it at or something like zero point 0.8 or 0.7. There we go. So we have our panel. So you can create one or two for the floor, for the as the side, and we have the wall, and then you can also create one for the ceiling. And for the ceiling, you can create areas for the light dedicated to the lights, which you won't randomize. And outside of that area, the ones you can randomize, you can use random flow. Okay, so I guess this is it for this video. And in the next video, we'll try and uh, bake this into bake this into a texture detail using greeble bake. So you can have the option to either use it as a geometry or just textures so it can be lighter. So for closer renders, you can use geometry. For far away renders, you can just use texture so it will be lighter. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, use the comment section below or the links in the description. Subscribe and hit notify. And thank you for watching and have a nice day.